Facebook land. I think someone's here, but I don't know. I am doing a last minute live while I test some bath bomb designs. And I have no clue if these will work. Some I think will, but others may not. And I'm just gonna go live and do it with you watching, and you'll see all the mess ups and hopefully more successful ones than mess ups. Hi, Alicia. Okay, so I'm gonna bring the camera down actually a bit. Let me just get a little bit of binder in this before I do that. Okay, so let's see. I gotta bring this down. Okay, this is the fun part. Okay, in my messy dining room that I've taken over. Okay, hopefully this will stay. So, just in case anybody's wondering, the colors I'm using today are a combo. What is this? Coral Melon, I think. Coral Melon from Muddy Soap Co. That's a dye. And then I added some Coral Lake from Fizzberry. So that is what the colors, the color that this mixture is, because I decided to use Cucumber Melon as my fragrance oil. So that is what this is. I will just say that when I do these lives, usually I'm not doing them planned in advance, so I apologize if you never know about them. But secondly, while I'm doing them, the camera, like the phone, is not at an angle where I can see well what is going on screen. So if anybody's writing anything and asking questions, I can't really see those usually. So I apologize if it seems I am ignoring you. I am not. I just have, I don't have access to seeing what's going on very much. These are some embeds that I'm going to use. And some of these designs are the same or similar designs as what I've already listed, and I'm going to add them as options or replace some things. And the reason I am testing them is I might have adjusted them a bit, or like in the case of a different design that I have, I tested it and it didn't work appropriately, but my mix was being weird the night I was testing. So I just want to retest those molds and see if they work. So first mold is just a flat ornament bulb. And my thought is if this works, I will have it like this, but then I may also have a few plungers that have designs on them, so that, you know, both are kind of available. Okay, but let's get started. So I'm just gonna kind of put this in here. I'm gonna turn this camera a teensy bit so that maybe you can see me filling better. And I'm just gonna kind of put some in there, press it a bit in that top part. Usually when you're testing a new mold, you really shouldn't use embeds, but I'm doing it anyway. So I'm doing a lot of holiday molds right now just because I know for me, the holiday season was like a huge one for me last year. And so I may not be able to be coming out with new designs for a bit while I deal with fulfilling, stocking my stores. So, plus I know it's kind of a long season and it's good to get started earlier. So I just wanted to get those out. Right now I have about, this is about 157, well, we'll go like this to cover up those holes, 160 grams plus the embeds. So some will come out, but in the end, that's probably ballpark the size of this one. And let's just use this. I'm just gonna make sure that kind of stays. Tap, tap, tap. Take that off. I should have tapped it enough that it comes off pretty easily. And let's see. So I usually use my plunger to get this out, but you can, if you don't have one, you can just take it out without a plunger. I feel like I need to raise this thing up a bit, so I will raise that in a bit so you can actually see what's going on. And then I like to use foam board or cardboard to just help me be able to just move things around, and I don't bother the bath bomb while I do that. Awesome. Okay, so this is for sure gonna get listed as a flat ornament bulb bath bomb, I think is what I'll be calling that. And then I'll slowly work on trying to get a couple of, let me move this up a bit, a couple of designs in there as well. I think I'm turning this thing the wrong way. Ugh. Okay, there we go. And then it'll fall a bit. So there, okay. Hopefully you'll see that and you see my belly. That's great. Lucky you. Okay, next, let's go with, okay, so this is a newer design that I am doing a little gingerbread house. So I have no clue if this will work, but we'll see. Let me move this aside. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna add a bit in the bottom. I am going to kind of push that in to my little edges, especially in that chimney area. Throw some embeds in here. Yeah, let's just go the corners yellow. And, oh, even the roof, why not? And then let's throw a little something in there to just add a little something, something. Okay, and then let's fill it all up the rest of the way. Last time I went live, my Wi-Fi was really wonky and it ended up cutting out a million times. So if that happens again, I'm just gonna let the live die and I'm not gonna bother trying to get back in. So I apologize if that happens. I think it was more frustrating for people that it was like, I was on, then I'm off, then I'm on, then I'm off, then I'm off. So anyway, okay, here we go. Let's see, I'm really nervous about this one. I am not sure this is gonna work. If it does, my next thing, I'm moving on to our gingerbread man and gingerbread women. To add that to the gingerbread collection. So the last time, I don't know about you guys, but I use, I've been getting citric acid from Costco Business Center. They have pretty good priced, but it's like huge grain citric acid. So I grind it with my Vitamix. And it works out perfectly, but I'll tell you the rest of the story in a moment. And actually it's the cheapest I've found. Well, until recently. Hold on a moment. Let's try this. Ooh, I think it worked. Oh my gosh. That's the gingerbread house. And I am totally gonna list that. Super cute. I wasn't sure about adding more frosting coming down the roof, but I really like it like that. So, yay! Okay. Okay, that's the gingerbread house for sure. Getting listed next. Okay. So anyway, so I found a new place. Let's go with, this is what I'm going to consider a regular size 3D bulb, light bulb. So let's try that one. Should be fine because all the other sizes have worked, but I just want to test it out to be sure. And to get the weights. So anyway, so and Kuvas, recommended a place near her that's like a restaurant supply kind of place. And they have even cheaper citric acid, and it's not as large grain. And I tried that out, and it worked for me, but that was the night my mix was a little wonky. And I didn't grind it because it wasn't as big as my, the granules weren't as big as what I got at Costco. But now I'm wondering if my mix just likes ground citric acid. So this time I went back and used the citric acid that I've gotten at Costco that I know is ground so that I know it will work. Okay, I'm at 143 plus the embeds. I actually want to add some more embeds in here. Let's throw a few more in here. Just kind of for fun. For funsies. Okay. 163, and this is coming out the bottom. I let it drop a bit there so I could fill it up more. Like if I went all the way to the thing, it'd be coming out there, but I just find it easier to fill this way if I let it drop in the bottom. So anyway, I was having trouble with that. So I used part that and part my regular citric acid tonight, and this mix is feeling better. So I don't know if it's that citric acid or not, but I'm going to that store again on Thursday. So I wanted to test it out because it's a much cheaper citric acid. So I wanted to just make sure I can still use it before I go back and maybe buy another 50-pound bag or 20-pound. Well, I don't know what it is. What is it? I have no clue. Okay. And they have good, cheaper baking soda there too. So I'm really excited about that. Okay. This one, I'm definitely going to use the plunger. It's just easier. If you like. Okay. So that was me filling it up. This is 163 grams plus the embeds. And, you know, I got a pretty substantial Saturn ring there. Like I don't have to fill it up that much. I still probably will, but that's ballpark the size. Now, when I have this like foam mattress pad thing, and that's what I'm gonna unmold onto, but my mix, this happens with these gloves all the time. My mix, the bath bomb will stick to this as it dries, so I just throw a little bit of wax paper on there. And hold on, let me get a glove. I'm gonna get one that doesn't break that I got at a clearance center pre-COVID. So it was like $3 for a huge box. Now they're selling it for $15 for the huge box. Like, come on. Okay, but this will stay on better. It's just technically a bit too big. So when I unmold things that are like rounded, I'll unmold them onto that foam because it won't flatten. So there's one part of it. And then what I do is I kind of put my hands on this end and this end to kind of hold the bath bomb in place so that it doesn't fall out as I turn it. It doesn't usually fall out, but just in case. And I'm gonna just go like that to flip it. And then I'm just tapping, but I have the bath bomb barely touching. Oh, see, I didn't tap at the bottom and so it broke off. But that's my own little issue for tapping issues. But I will list that one. The other thing I can do is actually have it, you can't see it, but it can, let me turn this a teeny bit. It can, I'll put it here. Like, dry like that, I think. So I'm gonna try that and see if it falls apart. Okay. So that was a total of about 160 grams, just over because of the embed. And that's gonna be considered the regular size bulb. Let me just add a teensy bit more. Okay, next is gonna be another one that you have kind of seen. It is a Mitten. And I listed the what I'm calling, I think I'm calling it the regular size, but it looks small to me. So I wanted one that looked bigger, but this will probably be quite heavy. because the one that was small was like 140 grams. And for me, that's good for my people. I ran out of filament, so it's a multicolored thing. And so this is going to be the large mitten, if it works. And I should have sanded. So my bath bomb's now going to have little pieces of filament, because I didn't sand, when I shifted that. So anyway, if you were to buy it, I would sand that. Okay. Let's just get a little bit down in there. Let's throw the green in the thumb. And then I'll throw yellow in the cuff. Why not? And that might be all I do. These are, so because I am, I'm not making a whole batch of this. So I'm not going to list these for sale because it's like so much of a hassle to like take pictures and everything like that when you're like, you got one to sell. So what I do is I put these in my, I call it surprise clearance on my site. And basically you can choose to get a clearance bath bomb, which is a reduced rate bath bomb. And I'm just going to pick one of these to give you. Anyway, I'm at 175 grams. I could probably add more, but I'm not going to bother. And I think for the rest of these, I'm not going to bother poking holes either. So that surprise clearance is it's easy for me because I don't have to go through the hassle of listing them. And then people get a good bath bomb that's maybe an old season or one that I only made one of. Oh, yes, looking good. So the other thing I'm planning to do for these mittens is to make them available in left and right in case anybody, for whatever reason, wants to make sure that they get a left hand or a right hand. And it doesn't matter to me. But the sleeve can be used for either. So if somebody were to want both, you can send me a note and I can charge a little less because I would only send one sleeve. Come on. Ho, 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 ho. That is about 170 grams. And that is gonna get listed as the large. Okay. Next up, let's do a non-winter. Okay, I'm gonna do next, I'm saving the mermaid tail. I've got a mermaid tail in here that I'm worried won't work, so I'm saving it. Okay, so this is the Plumbob, and I've already listed one that's a small because it was only around 100 grams. So I wanted to make a bigger one. And this is, so I'm hoping that this one is closer to 140, between 140 and 150. And let's see. Nice. Okay, so already I'm at 135 here. So this is already so much better. Okay, let's throw some yellows in here at the top. I'll throw some of this green. It's just easier if I just spoon this out. I got a lot of dust in there. Okay. And let's finish that out. So this is definitely more, a better size, although I went up to 185 now. But again, I have stuff coming out, I let this drop at the bottom, so it doesn't have to be this much. I'll probably still have a decent Saturn ring on this one. But, okay. Let's get that. This is gonna have a big Saturn ring. I definitely added way too much. Look at how far apart that is. And that's 180 grams. I could probably get it down to 160 without a problem. Okay. There we go. Let's use this to really get it out. Makes it easier. I mean, look at that Saturn ring. That thing is huge. So for sure, doesn't have to be this big, this much weight. Okay, so the challenge with this one is the unmolding again. So, because it is that 3D. And so, I'm gonna tap all the way around. And there is that. Unmold it on the other side and not mess this up. So again, I'm gonna kind of hold it like this and flip it over onto here. Let me turn this a teensy bit, there. Oh, I hope you're back. Okay, so the other option for this, if it's too much to have both of them 3D, you can put the flat side into that. Put your mix in there. Come on. Okay. I think it's back. And what I am going to do is if that happens again, I may just switch to data. But anyway, okay. So I have it flat on the bottom. I let it fall out a lot. I have 180 grams in here. So you can still get a decent size one. And then I'm going to still press it. And then let's tap it. And what I'm gonna wanna do, I haven't done this yet. It was more kind of like, I know you could do this. Let's go like this. We're gonna unmold it where the flat side will be at the top. I think this is gonna be a bit more of a challenge. Okay, so now, let me just wipe, oh. So the thing is, you're not gonna have an indented edge. So it is flat on that. And then you'd be able to unmold it onto something pretty easily. And it's less of a risk for it to get flattened somewhere or something like that. So then you've got this. So that's an option on this if you don't want it to be fully 3D. It will work that way. So, and then the back is just flat. You have this in a store on a shelf and it's just sitting there like that, much easier. Okay, but that's not part of my plan, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, next, let's do a little mini mermaid tail. I have no clue. Like minis are harder than regular size, but I've got a regular size and a mini. So this was a special request. I don't know if even the regular size works, but I am gonna try to see if this will work. So I'm just gonna kind of put some mix in, shake it around. I really want to try and get it in all those areas. This may be way too small. I'm going to just kind of use my pinky to really push that in there. And then that in. I don't know, man. This is so tiny. I'll be shocked if this works. I will be shocked. This is an interesting filament that I had. That's like a gradient filament that will print, like the whole roll is not all one color. And it's just kind of fun to use. So when I have my personal use ones, I do that because I don't have anybody complaining that things aren't a certain color. But if anybody wants that ever, and I have any, like you can feel free to send me a note and be like, if you have any gradient, can you make my bath bombs with the gradient? I mean, bath bomb molds. Okay. Oh, see, it's already cracked. So I think I'm gonna have to make this bigger. Let's just see what it looks like on the other side. I think this is gonna be way too small. I can't even push it through here. Come on. There you go. Okay. So, using my thumb to kind of push that through. And I'm gonna still use this thing to just make sure I can turn it over okay. And let's see how it goes. So let's try this. Just tapping and lifting. So there's a little stickage down in the tail. So for sure that's not working, but it's kind of close. So I'll definitely have to adjust that. I'll make the tail maybe a little bit further out and see if that helps. It's super cute. Oh, that's 25 grams. So I think I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. So that's less than an ounce. An ounce is close to 30 grams. So I think I'll make it like 10% bigger, but then also adjust that tail so that it will work better. Maybe have the tail be almost like that, like a little more rounded. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, so that didn't work. So let's just try the full size and see if we have the same issue with the full size. I definitely need a little bit more binder in here. I still got a few more designs that you haven't seen that I've got to test. I think you haven't seen them because I don't know if I shared them. They might have been in the background of another video. Okay. So let's go with the full size mermaid, but I'm a little worried about that corner now. Now I've got like anxiety about it. So let's go ahead, put some mix in there, tap it down in the tender spots, which include that end of the flipper, and then usually that kind of center is a little risque. And I'm gonna put a little bit of that in there, a little bit of that up there, maybe a little one in there, and a little of this here. Okay, so let's see what happens with this. I'm a little worried about this mix. I feel like it needs a teensy bit more. Maybe it's okay. Okay. I have more mix. When I make a mix, it's about double this size that I started with. But what I find is it kind of lasts better if I have half the mix that I haven't added the binder to it yet. And so it kind of saves for longer. And then I can add this into that. And it kind of makes it last longer for me. Okay. This is only 120 grams, I mean, plus the embeds, but I think I'm gonna make it bigger. It's, I like bath bombs to be ballpark 140-ish, and this, with me overfilling it that much, was only 120, and now it's down to 115. So I'm definitely gonna make it bigger. Let's just see if the design works in general. And then, like, do I just make it bigger as is or also adjust the design? Which is kind of a bummer because doing those scales, that takes forever in the design phase. So that's kind of like a little teensy bit there maybe. So I don't think that end is a great end. I think I'm gonna have it come out more as opposed to, like, instead of coming out like this, I have it come out a bit like that, and then I can make it a little bit bigger. That's my thinking originally. And maybe make the tail, the body of the tail, a bit wider as well. Again, because I'm only at 114, so this is pretty small. It's really hard to use that plunger for this because there's not really a good spot for it. So, okay. But let's just see how it looks anyway. Let me get a bigger one of these just so we'll take that and we'll take that and I just kind of go all around it once, especially areas that are kind of iffy, and I tap those a lot more without me lifting it. Because I really want to make sure that the bath bomb releases from the mold. And then I lightly tap while lifting. And if it doesn't lift, then I keep tapping, because you don't want to take this off the bath bomb. You want the bath bomb to come off of it. So there's the difference. And if you take this off the bath bomb, it will have an issue. Wow, it came off okay. So I might have just not tapped enough on the bottom. And I got a little piece of filament in there. But that's a general idea of it. I really like those scales. They came out really good, even though it took me forever to do them. But I am definitely gonna make this bigger. To me, that's too small. So I'm gonna wait to get that listed, and I'm also gonna make the mini a little bit bigger. Just to be consistent. Okay, I'm gonna get more of my mix, and then I've got 1, 2, a little over 3 designs. Oh, I have a question for you guys. This is another thing I made. I'm playing around with a bombshell. And it's an envelope. And my thinking was like, you know, like Christmas, you send Christmas cards, or people used to. Do you think, I don't know, what do you guys think of this? I'm thinking I'm gonna make this so that it's a little deeper. Right now it's a little too shallow for me, I think. So I'm still playing around with it, but that's my thought of this bombshell. And I don't have the topper. I did do a topper. But curious what you guys think of that. As a potential, I don't do many bombshells. I don't have any bombshells right now, but I'm looking at maybe adding a couple. Okay, let me get my mix. So like I said, I have a whole nother thing of mix here. So don't worry, I won't keep you for too much longer. It won't be this whole bowl. Frankly, I'm not keeping you at all. You can leave whenever you want. But I just find that stays so much better. Okay, let's get that. I find when I mix my binder in, it mixes better if I squeeze it as I mix it, as opposed to like stirring it around. For me, that just seems to work better. Okay, I mean, then I still gotta separate it all, but. Okay, let's get back to some Christmassy things. This is, I think, gonna be the regular size 3D ornament bulb. That's what I need to call it, ornament bulb. I couldn't think of a name for it. And first I'm gonna just fill it up like this, drop it a bit, like it's hot. Kidding. Throw some colors in there. Let's add a bit more of that. Okay. And let's just throw a bit on there to top it off. Not gonna bother with, I can't do it without putting the holes in it. I'm sorry, I just can't. Okay. And then I've got 150 grams in here now, plus the embeds. And I didn't even have to add that much, but. Okay. Actually, that's probably a good amount. It looks like I'll have a good Saturn ring that's not too big, too small. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get that sleeve off of there, clean up that Saturn ring. And time for unmolding. So this is back on my foam. I lifted too quickly and I broke that a bit. So let's, I'm gonna do this now the right way and not, I almost just dropped it. And let's see, will you see it here? Yes. So I wanna make sure I tap around that ornament, the top of the ornament, and it comes out totally fine when I do that. So that's the ornament, and that's gonna be the regular size. And that was about 150 grams. Okay. This is the bulb, the same light bulb one, but this is, what I did was I measured an egg and my goal here was to make it about the size of an egg so that they can be packaged in like egg crate things. So you can get like those like 6-pack of, you know, like egg crate things, which I've never gotten, but they're around Easter. They're people do the Easter eggs with them. I'm just making this about 60 grams. 63 grams. And so my thought was you can do multi-packs of the lights in that egg crate thing. Well, not my thought. There was someone in the group who suggested that, and I thought it was a great idea. So that's the thought of this. And I apologize for not giving you credit. I don't remember your name, but if you're watching this, thank you for that idea. And the other thing I'm making, it's still printing. It's like a 40-hour print, but it's a multi-set of this, to make 6 of these at once. The problem is it's gonna probably be kind of pricey because it takes 40 hours to print. I'm gonna just unmold this one into my hand so you can kind of see. And I'm just gonna tap from the top, which is another option. Although I guess when I do that, it's a little tricky there. But that is about the size of an egg. And here we go. The thought is you'd be able to, I'm gonna put it upside down, but you wouldn't put it in upside down, but you'd be able to put that in an egg crate kind of packaging. That's kind of my thought on it. The thought on that. Okay, the last design is actually 3 designs, but it's all similar. And they are the tree. Now, I have 3 versions of the tree design. I've got a plain tree with just a star. I've got a decorated tree, which when I did this one, I loved it. And then I've got the kawaii tree, which I do know already. I'm gonna be changing the eyeballs on this so that they stick out instead of stick in, because the mix will get stuck in those eyes. But when I was doing this the other day, the star was breaking. I don't know if that was my mix or if that was because I was putting an embed in there. So I'm going to make this without putting embeds up in the star and with this mix, obviously. And this is the last design. So, and then I got to go into another group where someone was doing a live that I missed because I was doing this live, and I want to check it out because I'm sure it's going to be a great one. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of, like I said, I'm not going to put an embed up in the star, but I will put some all along here. Okay, I'm hitting that thing. Okay. And then let's just go ahead and do this. This is another thing where I think I'm going to have it when I list this, if this works. I will have the option for you to get multiple plunger designs because the base is the same on this. But my recommendation, if you do that, if you decide to get multiples, is get like the kawaii and the decoration. I mean, I guess you could get the blank, but you can use the back side of this to get a blank. It won't have a star. Okay, this is 152 grams. Let's do the blank first. Oh, my camera moved, so you didn't see that. Okay. Let's just get the excess off of there. Okay. I'm going to tap a lot because I'm a little worried. Okay. Okay, so that's very promising. Oh, I need that for the next time. And then I got a lot of molds over here. Oh my gosh. I'm going to do a TikTok. You know how they have those things like, tell me you're married without telling me you're married, or tell me you're this without telling me. I'm doing a tell me you're a bath bomb maker without telling me. And let me tell you, mine will be a million molds. Although I guess it could be tell me you're a mold maker without telling me. But even before I was a mold maker, I had a million of these. Okay. I'm just going to tap all around. And especially at that star, because that has caused me problems before. And then I'll lift while tapping lightly. And it's not coming up, so I'm going to tap some more. With maybe this. And let's go this side. Ha ha ha! This time it stayed. So it's either my mix or this doesn't like it if you put an embed in the star. Although embed dust might be okay. So now that was 150 grams. I'm gonna do the same base and sleeve, but this time, oh, this is, well, so this is what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna do the same base and sleeve, but now instead of using this, I'm gonna use this and put it in there. But if I got this and then I wanted a blank one, I can put it in backwards. You know, it will be straight flat across. It's not gonna have that kind of rounded edge, which I personally like, but you know, like you don't have to buy all 3 plunger designs unless you really want to. Okay, let's put a little bit in there, shake it all around, push it into the sensitive areas. Okay, and then let me just throw in, I'm gonna just kind of do a little dust up there. That shouldn't be as much of an issue. And then let's do this, that. We'll throw that. Okay. And fill it the rest of the way. Okay, I'm at 155. By the time I push this all in, it'll be less. 152. And now this is non-kawaii, but just the decoration. And let's go here. Just want to press down a tiny bit. I probably pressed too much. So while this is like secure in the sleeve, I can bang it all I want and it should be okay. And now I should be able to just lift it. Oh, maybe not. I can feel it sticking somewhere, so I'm gonna tap some more. You only want to lift if it'll come off. That's probably where it was sticking, but I can push that back in. Okay, now let's unmold this one. Let's get me this and this. And again, I'm gonna tap and tap some more and tap some more without lifting. Then I will tap lightly while lifting. If I tap too much, it'll hit it and then you'll get a messed up design. I broke the star as I came off. So I'll do another one off camera of that. But that is the decorated one, and I think it's my favorite of the trees. Okay, and then this is the last one. Same exact sleeve, same exact base. And now I'm going to do the kawaii tree. So yet again, I just kind of push it into areas that have caused me problems in the past. And then let's throw some embeds in here. Throw there, we'll do that side. And then here. And there. Okay. And then I'm just gonna fill the rest of the way up. 150, be consistent. 156, by the time I finish it out, it should be around the 150. Okay, 152. This is the kawaii one. And okay, I'm not pressing down very hard, but, and now I'm going to tap all around. Lift, no probs. Okay, unmolding. I'm just going to tap all around without lifting. Oops, I just literally hit the bath bomb. Lifting. If it doesn't lift, I tap some more. I can feel it almost coming. Awesome. Like, sometimes you just gotta tap a lot. And that is the kawaii. Now, right now, the eyeballs look fine. But I know that after a few of these, the mix will stick inside those eyeballs. And then you'll just get a round thing, which is not a problem, but I think it'd be better if I make the eyeballs stick in instead of stick out. Okay, this is really the last one I'm going to show you. I'm just going to show you how, if you got like the kawaii one, you could, this is right on the edge of needing some more binder. You could, I'm just going to really quickly fill it to show you. Okay, it may not be perfect, but that's okay. The point of this is just to show you that if you were to get the one of them that has a design, you can use the flat side to push it in. Okay. And then now here's the difference, right? So as you unmold it, so your bottom piece will still have this kind of, like how it kind of puffs out there, right? That edging. But the top piece, what is currently the top, but I would, after it dries, I would put this as the top. So it's not a big deal. But after We'll turn it over. It actually probably will unmold much easier because it doesn't have to release from that. It's just a flat thing. So it does actually, like, I actually didn't even have to tap that. So, but as you see, this side is just straight, right? There's no kind of beveled edge to it. And you may like that. There's also no indentation of the star, but, you know, big deal. So you kind of get, if you get one with a design, you kind of get two in one. I mean, even if you get the blank one, you get another one that has no one of that. So that's, I'm not going to keep that one, but that's an option for it. So anyway, I am going to check here to see if there's any comments. I don't think that there is, but because just in case anybody asks questions, because what do you poke with? I think that's what you're asking there. My holder thing. Hold on a second. Let me take that off there. Why do you poke the holes? Okay, so I poke the holes because to help make it float, you ideally want to have, if you can, get some like air pockets within your bath bomb. So by poking the holes, you'll get little air pockets in, so it will have a better chance of floating. Now, I press mine down a lot, so it may not float, but I poke the holes to give it a better chance. That is why. And let's see. Megan, hi. Chef Depot, thank you. Yes, that is exactly where I went for the citric acid, yes. And they have good prices on the baking soda. So, Jen, it was close. You may do that for me every day. I think that was about the filament, so noted. A fat mermaid's tail. Yes, I'm definitely gonna, she's chubbier. I'll totally go for that. Okay, I think that's it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll get several of these listed in probably by this weekend. I need a couple of days to let them dry out, and then I can take pictures and all that fun stuff. So it will be a little bit, but it will come. So anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great night. Bye, everyone.